All right, so we get a lot of comments, we get a lot of emails, but we also get a lot of comments. And I've decided I'm going to start reading some of these things. And feel free, Brad, Cora, to
Mhm.
jump in anywhere along the lines here of your thoughts. Many of you may remember just last week we ran a story about the worst pantry food and storage mistakes that you're making. It's basically that cans actually last a lot longer in the pantry than the expiration date. So we've got and I'm not going to read the full name. I'm just going to refer to him by initials. JJ sent us this comment. My wife and I found a can of corn in our pantry that was 6 years past the expiration date. And when we opened it, it looked and smelled fine. So JJ said he tasted it and it was as good as a new can. No problem. However, I think you should use caution and common sense when dealing with food. Absolutely right. How long do you keep your stuff, Cora, Brad, in your pantry past the expiration date?
So I often get ridiculed because I regularly comb through my inventory, so to speak. So I throw out stuff, even if it's getting close to the expiration date, because in my opinion, like if they put an expiration date on there, it's for a reason. Especially I pay attention where they have an expiration date, but then some have use by, and I'm like, interesting, little intentional word differences there. But also like, that's great. I'm sure the corn was probably fine. You're probably safe, but unless I'm living in like a post-apocalyptic world, do I really want to, allow for any chemicals or anything else that is grown in there or the contact with the aluminum? I mean, there's all these theories like, does that, contribute to Alzheimer's and all the things? So like, can you do it? But should you do it? Right? Because canned goods, especially, are so inexpensive. So I don't even flirt with danger, but I also have a very sensitive tummy. It's just not worth it for me because feeling sick is no fun. So you guys are probably different, but that's kind of my take. What's yours, Brad?
Well, Cora, I have to start with the fact that a bottle of water has an expiration date on it, and I've never understood that. Okay, and I understand the plastics.
Microplastics, microplastics.
Yeah, okay, I hear you, but I don't pay attention. I'll be honest. I probably just look at the can. If it's got a weird shape, or if I open the top and it's got a funky smell, then I'm not gonna eat it or deal with it. But I don't pay that close attention. And kudos to you for going through that pantry and cleaning everything out. My dad is listening right now, and I will share this
Okay.
because he and I had I was down with him a few weeks ago. He and I had a delicious dinner that the product had expired about 2.5 years ago, and it was delicious, and we both survived to tell the tale. I think you did, Dad, right?
Wow. Okay, let me tell you the other side of that. So one of our employees recently almost lost her father who had eaten some expired, I think she said it was peanut butter, but don't quote me on that, an expired product from their pantry and ended up with E. coli in
Yep.
the hospital and almost died. And so
Yep.
now her and her siblings go over there and regularly check the expiration dates and make sure mom and dad have good food to eat.
Well, I will also tell you, I've spoken about this. My wife, LaDonna, is much like you, Cora, that she looks at those expiration dates and tosses and I applaud that and I respect that. But now that you've said this, I have a feeling and she listens to the show, I've got a feeling she'll be has a new zest for going through the pantry and tossing out things. But the story itself had a comment that if it's dented or rusted, that definitely throw out the can, as
Yep.
Brad indicated. On another story that I think, Brad, you were in on, the most overlooked fire hazards in your home. You may remember that one. We
I
talked
do.
about different things.
Yep.
Well, Michael sent us a response. He says, at least in my case, cleaning the dryer exhaust is quick and easy. The dryer is right next to an outside wall, and the duct is a full 2 feet long. But that also brings up a question about the duct, the vent from the dryer to the outside, even though this is 2 feet long. Brad, you and I once talked a while ago about the corrugated dryer vent can be dangerous, folks. This is something important. Yeah.
Yeah, the flexible vents, those that are stretched out to say 6 feet, they can collect a lot of debris quickly, and they will constrict the airflow. There's a higher hazard with those flexible vents. You're much better off taking and just crafting that ductwork with the straight metal, aluminum type of dryer vent. Much safer, much easier to keep clean. Your dryer will run more efficiently, and you're really going to cut down the heat that's built up. Your appliance is going to last longer, and you're going to have less likelihood of a fire.
And on that same story, we struck a chord. We're getting a lot of views. We have our YouTube channel. If you go to the LouisvilleAnswers.com, you'll be able to see a lot of these questions that are broken out individually. That overlooked fire hazards brought a lot of comments. And Cora, let me ask you, if you walk around your home, do you have a lot of extension cords plugged into the walls?
I do not, unless it's Christmas time because we
Oh,
love our lights.
well, even then, Eagle Scout sent us, he says, I'm surprised you didn't highlight extension cords, Brad, because you were in on this,
Yeah.
and power strips. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people plug high amperage appliances, window ACs, space heaters, microwaves into an extension cord or power strip, thinking that the breaker panel or the little fuse at the power strip will protect them, but that's often not the case. And it's possible to pull enough amperage through the extension cord to cause it to overheat and have a fire. Brad, thoughts?
Yeah, it's I read the full comment on there. I mean, part of the answer is correct, part of it's incorrect. But yes, you do not want to use a power strip for anything that's pulling a high amperage load. It's power strips are really not intended to be permanent. They're just intended to be temporary. If you plug a few phone chargers into it, you're okay. If, I think in one case someone had said, well, I'm running my air conditioner off of a power strip. One, I don't know what type of power strip you have because those are very high amperage draws, and a power strip does not supplant or take the place of the breaker in the box. But it's true that you're not using, you can't expect the power strip, that little breaker in it to trip. It does not function like a surge protector or an overheat or overload protection. So yeah, you do have to be careful about what you're plugging in. And I would not put a power strip anywhere where it's tucked behind, furniture or dressers or where you can't quickly get to it because I mean, we've all seen them, power strips that have little, scorch marks on them where they have overheated. They're not all created alike. If you buy one on Amazon, it's not like others that you buy on Amazon. So make sure you know what type of load rating you're getting, know what type of gauge of wire, and what the limit is on that power strip.
Now, is that
Right.
any different when you have those cubes? Like I have one it's a cube and it has the USB port. So,
Right.
a lot of in the kids' rooms, they have like these different lights, LED light stuff that they use the
Right.
USB and then certainly the phones and other things.
Yeah, those are going to be all very low amperage draws on them. So they're probably, I mean, nothing is perfectly safe, right? But I mean, that's going to be those USB type power ports. They're only pulling, just a few amps on them versus someone trying to plug in, like, if you're plugging in a refrigerator, you're plugging in a window air unit, you should have a heavy duty, probably 12 gauge type of extension cord that you're using in order to handle the load that's carrying. And I think the listener was right to call it out because it was not included in the list. And we know that there's a lot of fires that are started, particularly, I mean, coming into the season where, those little heaters people are tucking under their desks and they walk away from those little heaters that are plugged in an extension cord or a power strip. And that's a risk.
We'll continue down the road reading some of the comments from you, our listeners. You can either email me or you go onto our YouTube channel. You'll see the stories and then you can comment there.